Welcome to Books Power Channel, where entertainment meets continuous self-improvement. What if I told you that deep inside your own mind, there's a secret code, a formula for wealth discovered over 80 years ago by studying the world's most successful people? Well, today, we're going to unlock it.
Look, we're not just talking about a book called Think and Grow Rich. This is so much more. Think of it as a blueprint for completely rewiring your brain. We're about to dive into the core principles that separate the people who just dream about success from the ones who actually go out and build it.
Okay, let's get right into the heart of it. Every single great achievement, every massive fortune, it all starts with one single, all-consuming force. It's not a wish, it's not a hope. It is a burning desire. There's this incredible story about a great warrior ages ago. He was facing an enemy army that was way, way bigger than his. So he sails his soldiers to the enemy's country, has them unload everything, and then he gives a chilling order: burn the ships. Standing in front of his men, he made it crystal clear there was no going back. It was victory or nothing. And you know what? They won.
So, what does that mean for you right now? It means that true commitment, it requires you to cut off all sources of retreat. To get something you've never had, you have to be willing to completely eliminate the option of failure from your mind. You have to be willing to burn your own ships.
Now, Napoleon Hill doesn't just leave you with that story. He gives you a practical 6-step formula to turn that desire into cold, hard cash. First, be exact about the money you want. No vague wishes. Second, decide exactly what you'll give in return. Nothing is free. Third, set a firm deadline. Fourth, create a plan and, this is key, start immediately. Fifth, write it all down. And finally, read that statement out loud twice a day. You're literally programming your mind for success.
Okay, so desire sets your destination. But that's not enough, is it? You need a way to get there. And that bridge, well, that bridge is called faith. It's the absolute, unshakable belief that you will achieve your goal long before you have any proof.
Back in the early 90s, there was this broke, struggling actor. You might have heard of him, Jim Carrey. He drove his beat-up old car up into the Hollywood Hills, looked out over the whole city, and wrote himself a check for $10 million. He dated it 5 years in the future, and he carried it in his wallet every single day. And guess what? Just before that date came up, he was paid exactly that amount for his role in Dumb and Dumber.
So how on earth did he do that? He used a technique called auto-suggestion. And this is so important, you guys. Your subconscious mind, it literally cannot tell the difference between what's real and what you vividly imagine. So by feeding it the image and the feeling of success over and over again, you're programming it to find a way to make it happen.
All right, you've got your mind programmed for success. But how do you get the actual knowledge you need to pull off your plan? This brings us to a huge myth. The most successful people, they don't know everything, not even close. They just know how to get the knowledge they need and apply it.
Henry Ford was once in court, and the opposing lawyers were trying to make him look dumb by asking him all these random trivia questions. He finally got fed up and said something like this: his power wasn't in the facts he memorized. It was in his access to people who had the facts. He understood that knowledge is just potential power. It only becomes real power when you organize it and use it.
So you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. What you need to do is build what Hill calls a mastermind. Think of it like your own personal board of directors. A group of people with different skills, all working together on a single goal. Their combined brain power can solve pretty much any problem you can throw at it. Okay, let's talk about the exact moment, the breaking point, where most people fail. They have desire, they have the faith, they even have the plan, but then they quit. And the crazy thing is, it's often just moments before their big breakthrough. There's this famous story of a man named R.U. Darby. He got gold fever, went out west, and actually struck a vein. It looked like he hit the jackpot. But then, the gold just disappeared. He kept digging, but nothing. So he gave up. He sold all his equipment for a few $100 to a junkman and went home defeating. Well, that junkman hired a mining engineer who figured out that the gold was just 3 feet from where Darby had stopped digging. The junkman went on to make millions.
And that story just perfectly nails the difference between temporary defeat and permanent failure. See, defeat is just feedback. It's a signal that your plan isn't quite right and you need to adjust it. But failure is a choice. That's what happens when you decide to stop trying.
It really boils down to this simple, powerful truth. Persistence is the one quality that separates the people who make it from the ones who don't.
When you absolutely refuse to accept defeat, you give yourself a fighting chance to win.
So where do all these world-changing plans even come from? Every great company, every huge fortune, it didn't start in a factory or some fancy office. It began as a single idea, created in the mind's own workshop, your imagination.
Let's go back to 2007. There are two broke roommates in San Francisco who couldn't make their rent. A huge design conference was in town, all the hotels were booked solid. So they had this simple idea. Why not put 3 air mattresses in their living room and rent them out? That little idea became Airbnb.
And that right there is the magic of imagination. It doesn't always have to create something out of thin air. A lot of the time, it just takes old ideas, like renting a room and an online website, and combines them in a new way to create something incredibly valuable. Your imagination is a real workshop.
And now for the final battle. You can have the best plan in the world, you can have all the desire you can muster, but if you don't win your inner war, you will absolutely lose the outer one. Before you can succeed, you have to defeat the 6 fears that haunt every single mind and kill every dream.
These are the 6 basic fears that hold us back. The fear of being broke, the fear of what other people will think, the fear of getting sick, of being alone, of getting old, and, of course, the fear of the end. They're like these little ghosts that whisper in your ear, telling you to play it safe, to stay small.
So take a hard look at this list. Be really honest with yourself. Which one of these is your ghost? The one that's holding you back right now? Just recognizing it, that's the first step. The second step is deciding that your burning desire is way more powerful than your fear.
So if you take away just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Building real wealth is an inside job. Your reality is created first by a definite thought. It's fueled by a belief that you just can't shake, and it's made real through persistent, planned action. The treasure, it's already inside you. And remember this, your mind is the only thing that can truly limit you. Any barriers you see out there, they're ones you built. So it's time to tear them down. Use this blueprint and go build your empire. If this blueprint gave you a new way to look at things, let me know by hitting that like button, and definitely subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most powerful books. And in the comments, I want you to make a commitment. Name the one fear you are going to conquer this week. Let's do this.